It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by NezumiVA.
What do you think of the theory that Gunn did not actually mistake Sonic for Shadow, but rather use Sonic as a convenient scapegoat for the public while trying to get their hands on Shadow after his escape? Considering the Ark incident, and Project Shadow by extension, would be a definite PR nightmare for them, I think this makes a certain amount of sense and seems more a satisfying explanation than they're just kind of dumb. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this.
I think that's a nice amount of plot spackle to make it feel a little more grounded. I don't think that's what the intention was. I think the original intention was they did mistake Sonic for Shadow. And to a degree, that also makes sense given the semi-truck they drove down Westopolis.
I guess.
You know, the amount of civilian damages caused with that truck chase alone, deploying armed units in the middle of a civilian area for a single target. Gunn is not known for their restraint. Their safeties are perpetually off. So, I mean, I think the idea of them as any kind of positive force mostly stems from them standing up against the Black Arms in Shadow. But in general, I don't think they're really the good guys. I think they're just like the situational less bad guys.
That's why Team Dark is involved with it, because they kind of like, it's weird. They're not team evil. They're not team bad guy necessarily. Well, I guess Eggman was with them the first time, but beyond that, Team Dark is like, you know, they're skirting the line between good and not so good. Not necessarily evil, but, you know. So, also, City Escape takes place in Westopolis. Is that a thing? Is that true?
Yeah. Where did that? I think Izuka-san started that in the Summer Sonic somewhere.
Oh, interesting. Fascinating.
Or there's some bit of like minutia in some guide or statement somewhere that says Westopolis was the city that Sonic ran through.
What happened to Eastopolis? Was that Station Square? Fascinating. As I'm sure you're already familiar, the villain of Mega Man Zero is Copy X, but was originally stated to be X himself before the Inti Creates team decided to alter this plot point 1 month before the game's release. What do you think of the original X being played as an antagonist? Do you think the decision to make him a copy was a better choice in the long run?
Personally, I like that a lot more.
Yeah, me too.
Like the concept of the ideals becoming corrupted is something of a running theme throughout the Mega Man series, and it gave the true X a chance to help Zero as, you know, these lifelong partners one last time until he came back, and then it was one last time, and you know what I mean. I'm fine with the idea that X was just tired of fighting. Someone who was even more pacifistic than Rock. Someone who really did want to put the gun down back in, what was it, X7?
Yeah.
Someone who was meant to be a truly peaceful person and has been forced to fight for so long and so hard, just being done. That I get. That's fine. But the idea that it could have corrupted him into the extremes that Copy X went to, that I don't like that idea. I like the idea of X getting tired, but still coming back to help Zero one last time. I don't like the idea of X becoming corrupted by his fight. That's too tragic for me. Like I much prefer the bittersweet ending that he gets in Zero than the idea of him becoming the very antithesis of what he was meant to be. No, dislike.
We don't need Injustice Superman over here. I know you guys are big Homestar fans, as am I, so I'd like to propose a little thinking exercise. Suppose that, for a day or two, Shadow was put in charge of Strong Bad emails, and Strong Bad was forced to take on Shadow's missions, maybe even made to mingle with Rouge and Omega. What chaos would ensue?
Well, Shadow would go through the Strong Bad emails in record time. Deleted. But
then Homestar would show up and bother him, distract him.
Chaos control.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow. It's chilly out here. Whoa. Shadow. Oh, man. Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Whoa, he said damn.
Holy crap, I can say words like this now. The cheat, I'm off the leash, man.
Is the cheat there with
Maria, this is what you wanted, isn't it? A chance for everyone to have, I don't know, Cheetos?
Cheetos?
Perhaps a cracked copy of WinRAR so it doesn't guilt you anymore? Zipping all them files? The cheat, help me fight this stinking salamander. Why is it so big? Stop throwing ping pong balls at me.
I'm broken. I can't. Oh, I want this now very badly.
I mean, he'd get along with Omega well enough. He's just big mechanical strong mad when you get down to it.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
He's like my big brother, except he's got like guns for arms, so he's even cooler now. Rouge, however, he would not be able to handle.
No,
the slightest.
No.
Like the first flirtatious line, and he's just dissolved into the Ghiblies.
Ghibli. Oh boy. And Rouge would love it because that was what would happen. He'd just melt into a puddle of goo.
Oh yeah!
Every time she interacts with him,
an easily manipulated minion. Oh, absolutely.
He's clearly a hit with the ladies.
Why are you robbing your own house? Well, because Rouge said she really wanted something shiny, and I think I remember that Strong's had like some Fabergé eggs or something.
Meanwhile, they're the freaking
macrame.
Oh, I was gonna say. Meanwhile, they're the freaking Chaos Emeralds. Because of course they are. Hey man, if we're gonna do a crossover, we got to do it right.
How the heck did you manage to get all the Chaos Emeralds? Well, you see, first I put on this long fake mustache, and I put on these very large waiter pants, and my Michael Jackson revival coat, and I climb into this flying orb. It's true.
And it worked. Wow, amazing. I don't know if you're allowed to answer this, but it's been on my mind ever since playing Frontiers. In Sonic Battle's Gerald journals, there is a mention of 4 great civilizations that once existed, one of which created and were presumably destroyed by the Gizoid. Were the ancients possibly considered to be one of these civilizations, or were those exclusively ones that came afterward?
If they were one of the 4, they would have been the first. The ancients preceded everything else. I'm kind of working under the assumption they were the first, but that still means there's 2 more before the 4th one showed up to make the Gizoids.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe one day we'll find out. Maybe one day Sonic Battle will be finally incorporated into canon in a satisfying way. We can dream at least, right? Can't we? We can dream.
I love Sonic Battle's story. I really do. It would need some heavy revision.
Yeah, well, so does the rest of the franchise. Filler arcs in anime get a bad rep a lot of the time for slowing down stories or otherwise being so pointless that it can break the pace, or even muddy a series' theme in worst cases. What are both of your favorite and least favorite filler stories from something you've watched, to the best of your memory?
See, I can't really think of too many filler arcs off the top of my head. Like, I know My Hero Academia's had a few filler episodes.
Yeah.
But I can't think of them specifically, so I guess they didn't really throw off the pacing that badly.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that I can really think of is like the Garlic Jr. saga out of Dragon Ball Z, and that one is like universally panned for muddying the waters of the canonicity of the movies and just being boring.
I can't think of anything, honestly. Like, maybe it's because I don't watch much anime. I haven't watched much anime, so I'm not so acquainted with the filler arc. But then again, I know there's obviously filler episodes and stuff in other things too. So I don't know. I've been watching Batman the Animated Series, and most of the episodes are kind of standalone, really. There's not really an overarching plot necessarily, so there's not really... I guess you could argue either they're all filler or none of them are filler. I don't know. Ian, I know you've said before that spooky isn't necessarily your thing, but suppose you were tapped to be lead writer for a comic based on any popular horror game franchise that you can think of. Which one would be your go-to?
My knee-jerk reaction is to say Resident Evil, because that one I'm at least passingly familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Given my Sega pedigree, I kind of feel obligated to do House of the Dead.
House of the Dead is not scary, though.
No, but it is a horror game.
It's supposed to be, yes, but it's very goofy. It's very goofy. Oh, it's very silly. Oh, it's very...
In that regard, like, I kind of want to lean more towards original Resident Evil. I mean, the remakes I know are very solid, and they take a new pass at things, but there's a certain degree of charm to be had in the just goofy original ones. Like I feel like Resident Evil 4 found that perfect balance in horror and self-seriousness and not serious at all.
The first four are pretty goofy.
Dead Rising would also be a fun world game.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think Dead Rising would be the one Dead Rising for you. Yes. Do it, Ian. Right now, you better be writing your Dead Rising comics right now. I don't care if there's nobody paying you.
What I want to do, this will never happen, but what I want is a Punisher Dead Rising crossover.
I'm kind of amazed that's not happened. I mean, Capcom and Marvel do have a working relationship. Come on. Yeah,
right? And I can just imagine the logo. And it just says Frank, West, and Castle. And you got Frank with his like smoking AK giving the ugliest side eye to West. And West has got like this horribly bloody encrusted baseball bat and is hefting his camera and just gives him this big old smile and goes, I've covered wars, you know.
Well, I mean, of course.
Basically just tell the Dead Rising 1 story with Frank Castle involved. He's hunting down some serial murderer who ran off to hide in Willamette during the apocalypse, of course.
Well, yeah.
Have him take out some of the psychopaths, have him kind of cross into Frank West's investigation of everything. I think it could work.
Yeah. Yes, it absolutely would. It sounds amazing. I would love that. Very good, very good. This would probably never happen, but suppose that out of the blue, one day, and no pun intended, Sega came to you and gave you an ultimatum. No more chili dogs. They can't be mentioned anywhere or be Sonic's favorite food. What then would Sonic's favorite food be if it had to be completely different? I guess I'm asking for his runner-up. That pun was intended.
Yeah.
But
God, you say that and it makes me think of back when they were doing a McDonald's promo tie-in. And there was a Q&A with Izuka-san, I think. And it's like, what is Sonic's favorite food? And he's like, McDonald's cheeseburgers, trademark. And it's like, I know what he had to do. I understand. But it still cracked me. I was like, come on. For context, I think it was after that Black Knight came out. And it had Sonic, famously with the chili dog. And everyone was like, oh my God, he's got the chili dogs again. So that's how old that promo and interview was.
Wow.
What would he eat? I don't know.
I mean, probably burgers. Burgers seems to crop up otherwise in second place.
A 90s icon. Make it pizza.
Or pizza, yeah.
Bridge the Ninja Turtle thing.
Yeah. Chili burgers, yeah. Instead of chili dogs, chili burgers. Nah, just make Med Burger canon.
Oh God.
Let's move on to the next question. Any favorite treasure games? I know Ikaruga and Gunstar Heroes are the more well-known ones, but I personally love more niche ones like Dynamite Headdy and Alien Soldier, and I'm curious to know what your picks would be if you guys have any.
I went through a wiki list, and apparently I have never played a treasure game.
Oh, man. They're so good.
Like, I know the Ikaruga.
Yeah.
And I feel like I vicariously played it through Forces.
I mean, yeah, it's a very similar thing.
I really wanted to play Sin and Punishment. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, that's one I have not played. There's a lot of
Dynamite
them.
Headdy. I've heard of Gunstar Heroes. I've never played any of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've all got, like, first of all, of course, I'm going to bring this up. Amazing soundtracks. Like, in terms of music, treasure games are on freaking point, man. So, yeah, definitely worth it just for that alone. But, geez, like, I mean, Gunstar Heroes is a legendary, stellar game. Fantastic. Even the Game Gear version is great, but that's not directly developed by Treasure. It was ported by M2, which, you know, M2 are kind of like the masters of porting stuff. So the freaking Game Gear version is surprisingly not cut down too much. Dynamite Headdy has a special place in my heart. I do enjoy that one. Alien Soldier is such a weird game. It's kind of disappointing it never got an official North American release, so it's a bit flew a bit under the radar. Mischief Makers, man, I do love Mischief Makers. It's been so long since I've played it, but it was so good that it's been a long time since I've even thought about Mischief Makers. Let's see what else in here. I mean, Ikaruga is legendary. I always forget Wario World is apparently a treasure game, but it is, and it's actually a really solid platformer too. It's fun. But I am gonna say that my favorite treasure game is a licensed one, and is way better than it has any right to be. McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure for the Sega Genesis. Speaking of McDonald's. First of all, the music is incredible. Like, the final boss music is metal as hell, dude. It's ridiculous. And it's like, the sprite art is beautiful. Everything in that game is gorgeous. It's not an amazing game by any stretch, but it's way better than it has any right to be, and I would recommend checking it out. It's silly, but man, the music, it's on point. It's good. It's real good. Love it. Love that. I've heard both of you make references to the classic audio drama Sonic and the Death Cheese before, so now I'm asking what is likely one of my silliest questions. How would you adapt it into a comic story if you were given the chance and the orders to do so? Any artistic liberties with the cheese itself or the ending?
No. 1-to-1 as much as possible.
I was going to say, you can't change the Death Cheese.
No. It's perfect as it is. I mean, anything consigning it into a singular static vision is doing it a disservice. Allowing it to just be audio so that you can envision each aspect of it. That's the true nature of the Death Cheese.
Yes. And the original and best. Yes, that's how it is. That's the best way to do it. God, I remember I used to play Sonic and the Death Cheese like on NGI, like to end the show. For a while there, that was fun. But man, good old Death Cheese. I thought you mighty like cheese sandwiches. No.
Unleash the cheddar shredder. The cheddar what? Ah!
Oh, yes. No changes to Sonic and the Death Cheese. How could you possibly besmirch greatness like that? I don't think you can. I don't think you should. I know it's a bit late for a Christmas-themed question, but how do you think A Christmas Carol would go with Starline in the role of Scrooge? Would the ghost of the future be able to convince him to change his ways if he knew he would get splatted like a bug? Or would he just double down and try to come up with a better plan with his newly granted foresight?
Well, if Starline is Scrooge, we're going to say that Snively is Bob Marley. You know, I, too, was a sycophantic second in command to Eggman, and look what happened to me! Shadow, Sonic, and Silver are the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, respectively.
Yeah.
We don't really have a family man in the series, so we're gonna play fast and loose and say it's Vanilla Cratchit with Tiny Cream instead of Tiny Tim.
Tiny Cream.
And after enduring all the harrowing visions from these ghosts, he throws open the window. You there, boy? What day is it? It's Christmas Day, sir. I still have time. And then he bulldozes the Cratchit's house because he will be remembered as the most fearsome and deadly villain. He did not go out so ignobly. No, if he's going to go out, it's going to be a blaze of glory.
Also, I'm laughing now because you put Snoopily as Bob Marley. You're thinking of Jacob Marley. Bob Marley is a completely different person.
Man, let me show you the true meaning of Christmas.
Terrible. Oh, man. Then again, you could also put Surgeon Kit in as the Cratchits, I think. That would be kind of amusing.
Maybe.
But Vanilla and Cream makes sense for that, too. So it's like, you could go either way.
I feel bad for the Cratchits. They actually try. They love one another.
True. Surgeon Kit are also Bob Marley. Everyone, this whole thing, everyone is now Bob Marley. They've all shot the sheriff, but they did not shoot the deputy. That's pretty funny. Say we live in a world where, hypothetically, the Sonic OVA did actually lead to a full anime series. What sort of arcs or characters would you have liked to see loosely adapted into that continuity? And how do you think they could have gone about it?
That would be something I would adore taking on. An OVA what if with all the crazy imagery and stuff that made it into the classic era of Sonic, and then the cut content stuff reimagined to fit into the world, the land of the sky and the land of darkness. To see Amy in that context would have been great. The original Chaotix, I imagine it would have been very kind of episodic at the time.
Yeah.
And shoot, I'd want to go back and research like what were the common comedy tropes in anime at the time and apply it there. There'd probably be a number of original characters, possibly based off of the small animals, to kind of fill in niches and roles that were already filled in, because the cast was fairly light at the time. And, Old Man Owl just kind of opens the door for a lot of things. If he can be there, what else can you do with the series?
Well, I mean, he's got to have Sonic's favorite clothes.
And then just kind of navigating where the story goes and seeing, what modern era stuff might be worth investigating. Like, imagine a 90s OVA style station square.
Yeah.
In the land of the sky. And, it's continents linked by ice bridges floating in the sky. You add chaos to the mix, that's already going to be super weird. How does Angel Island work in this context? If Knuckles is traveling, is it not a thing? Is he searching for it? It's a whole new context. It's a whole alternate universe Sonic that I would love to just flesh out and explore.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get more of it, but I want to say the Sonic OVA gets a bad rap, but I think honestly it really has come around and come to its own, and people like it now. I know at the time people were kind of weirded out about it because it was so different from everything else we'd seen, at least in the West. But I think a lot of people have come around to it now, which is good.
It's certainly it's definitely a product of its time.
Yeah,
especially the English voice acting. Some of the jokes don't land like they do anymore, but the premise enough is solid. The animation still holds up overall.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Soundtrack's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched it a ton as a kid. I still have the VHS. I don't have anything that can play it, but I have a VHS and I know it looks gorgeous. So still, man, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of that. Additionally, please speculate on an interaction between the menacingly edgy Infinite and the gleefully cartoonish Old Man Owl.
Infinite is absolutely confounded because no matter what he conjures to frighten this old man, he rolls with it. Oh, dear me, Sonic, I seem to be wandering into a lava field. I hope I don't singe my feathers off.
Does he think Infinite is Sonic?
Oh, yeah, everybody's Sonic with those glasses on.
I guess that's true.
So Infinite changes form to look like Sonic to lead him astray. And who are you?
Yeah, it looks wrong.
What's the matter, old man? You don't recognize Sonic when you see him?
No. Who are you?
Of course, when Infinite shape shifts to look like Sonic, he's wearing those very, very neon clothes at the time.
Well, yeah. He's got to wear Sonic's favorite clothes because they're Sonic's favorite clothes. Of course Sonic would wear them. Oh, that would be good. To close us out, please tell us how, if you literally had no choice, you would adapt Sonic Schoolhouse into a comic story.
Vanilla asks Sonic to help these kids with their school field trip because she's busy with something. And you can't say no to Vanilla. She's just too nice and pure and good. So Sonic agrees to look after these kids. And these kids are a little weird. They make some goofy faces. But, you know, it's one day. He can look after these kids. He can drive a school bus. He can drive anything. And you get into, you know what? Infinite attacks. And that's why the schoolhouse is full of floating letters and numbers that talk to you. And it looks like a old Wolfenstein map because the whole reality is being warped around. And Sonic's going to go around and save the children while being attacked by algebra.
Excellent. I love it. I hate being attacked by algebra, though.
Oh, I still have nightmares.
Yeah, me
Things
too.
it has done to assault me with.
Me too. Me too. Anyway, at least we don't have to deal with algebra anymore, and we are done with this BumbleKast Mini.
Yep. Thank you, NezumiVA, for sponsoring this episode. If you want a BumbleKast Mini of your own, head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member.
Catch you later.